building. We in the building. We in the building. Bitch, we in the building.
14th. 14th with the 12th best defensive coaching staff. 14th with the 12th best coaching staff. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Okay, fourth in regards to our ability to stop the run. Okay. All right, cool. All right, I can dig it. Ooh, this is a good opportunity to put my coach hat on here. Okay, so this looks like a weird ass defensive front, right? This looks like a weird ass defensive front. I understand, okay? Because we've got a defensive end, we've got a defensive tackle, we've got a nose tackle, and then we've got a linebacker, right? This is a 3-3-5 odd. That's what this is. This is 3-3-5 odd, basically, okay? And so when you have like these 3-3-5 odds or these even, you have your 3 down linemen because we are running a 3-4. You have your 3 down linemen, and then you have one of your linebackers. You have one of your outside linebackers bump down and kind of play that edge position, okay? So that's the reason why this looks like this. And you've got Jabril Peppers sliding down, kind of being that money backer, and this is kind of an alignment that I would be okay with. Although maybe I would put someone different there than Lorenzo Carter to have his hand in the door. I mean, he could be playing standing up. He could be playing in a 2-point stance, not in a 3 or a 4-point stance. But I would probably have someone other than Lorenzo Carter there. Maybe. Maybe I slide a BJ Hill over and have him in this position and maybe put Shelton here. I don't know, but this. I know that this may look weird for someone who's never quite seen this kind of a formation before, unless you're like a Madden guy. But even if you're a Madden guy, you're an asshole because these are all safeties. All these sons of bitches up here are safeties. There's no linebackers here. Whatever, All right. Hey, so I highly suggest, because I'm not showing all of Marcus talking, right? Because I don't want him to come and kick me in the junk about this style of video. But y'all should definitely watch this because he's gonna go super high in depth in this, and he's gonna talk about this a little bit more than I talked about this. But yeah, just you should go and check his video out. I 100% agree with this. I've talked about BJ Hill so much. I've talked so much about BJ Hill in regards to how good of a player I think he can be. And when we let Dalvin walk, I was like, yo, we still got BJ Hill. Like, BJ Hill was a goon. I don't know why he didn't get as many snaps last season as he did the year before that, because he did just fine. So yeah, I like BJ Hill. I think BJ Hill could be good. We're just gonna have to see. We'll have to see what happens. Okay, wait a minute, Marcus. So let me make sure that I understand this correctly. So you think that our defensive coordinator is so innovative? You think that our defensive coordinator is so innovative that he could potentially get an offer to be a head coach, but you still rank our defensive coaches as low as you did? That's what we're gonna go with? Alright, man. See, this is why takes like the and I'm sorry, earlier I said that you called him the worst player in the NFL. My apologies, you called him the most overrated player in the NFL. Fine. okay? But this is why takes like this are dangerous, okay? Because if a player goes somewhere else and becomes a monster, you then have to make this declaration that you just made where I'm not going to apologize for saying he was the most overrated player because in Green Bay he was bad, but he gets put in a scheme in a situation where, I mean, like, this is where these kind of takes are dangerous. They're kind of dangerous. So this is what this proves, and I've said this time and time again, okay? Scheme and coaching is more important than the players, okay? You have to have good players, but you gotta have good players in the right positions to do the things that they're good at. Because Blake Martinez comes over to the Giants and he looks like a god. He looks like a god. And this is right after you called him the most overrated player in the NFL. And then now you got to put a caveat on what you said. I just said this in a previous video about saying stuff like this about players. Like I just said this shit in a video. Because now you have to put a caveat on the fact that you called Blake Martinez the most overrated player in the NFL. Like, listen, it is what it is, man. You said it. And now you have to own that you said it. And yeah, you just said that you're not going to apologize for that take, but maybe you could have worded that take better. Maybe you could have said that the Packers were not using him correctly, and that's why y'all don't like him. Like, maybe you could have worded that take a little bit better in hindsight. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm just saying. You don't think he's a star. You don't think Blake Martinez is worth the money that the Giants paid for him. You're really going to say that right now, Marcus? I mean, come on, bro. Come on. He's been like one of the most important pieces, aside from Bradbury. He's been one of the most important pieces on his defense. He's not. You don't think he was worth the money? People were saying it was a travesty he wasn't a Pro Bowl last year. Non-Giants fans were saying it was a travesty that this man wasn't a Pro Bowler, that this man wasn't an All-Pro, but he's not worth the money? Oh man, this is what happens when you build hills you have to die on. This is what happens. I agree. This position right here, this right interior linebacker position, this is a problem. This is a problem. I agree. This is a problem. We gotta figure this right here out. I don't know if Tay Crowder is the guy. This right here is a problem. I cannot disagree with that at all, man. This is a problem. We got to figure this one out. I don't know who it's going to be. Like, when I look at our depth, I don't know who it's going to be. Because I just don't know if Tay Crowder is it. So, yeah, that's scary. That's scary to me. I will agree with that. Okay, I agree with this. Like, I agree with the fact that, like, looking at this right now, our pass rush is a question mark. Like, yeah, I agree. I agree that our pass rush is just an absolute question mark right now. And when I look at this, right? When I look at this, what I'm asking myself is, what are we going to get on the edge? Right? Like, Lorenzo Carter looked real good until he got injured. He could be good for us, on one side. Azeez Ojulari is a guy that's just an absolute steal for us, getting him where we got him in the draft. He could be very good coming off the edge on the other side. But like, it's the edge. It's the edge that's the question mark in regards to our pass rush. So I don't disagree that our pass rush, grade is low. I can't disagree with that. And then, like, you look at our depth, man. This is scary. This is scary. When we're looking at this group here, right? What's going to be the most important piece of this group is our interior. Like Leonard Williams and Dexter Lawrence are going to have to occupy bodies. They're going to have to occupy bodies to give whoever is on the edge, whether it's Lorenzo Carter, Azeez Ojulari, Odenigbo, Zimenez, Ellison Smith, Coughlin, like whoever is on that edge, they're going to have one-on-one looks, and they're going to have to just beat their man. Like they're going to have to. So in order for us to generate a good pass rush from the edges, those interior guys are going to have to put some damn work in. They're going to have to put some damn work in. Otherwise, it's just not going to be, we're not going to be good from a pass rush standpoint. Like I can't disagree. I can't disagree with Marcus here at all. Like I can't disagree with him at all. It's just what it is. Here's another take. Here's another take that I can't disagree with. This is another take I can't disagree with. I'm blocking it right now, but he's got our linebacker group graded at 29th. I can't disagree with it, right? The only person that I'm seeing that's like really, really relevant and could really be good is Blake Martinez. Like when we're looking at this defense from a standpoint of like coverage, right? Because at this point, this is what we're talking about here in this video, is we're talking about coverage ability for these linebackers. And when it comes to coverage, we're gonna have to rely heavily on our defensive backs. Like we have to rely heavily on our defensive backs, man, because looking at our linebacker room from a coverage standpoint, it's not great. It's just not great. Blake Martinez is okay in coverage. He's not great, but he's okay. He's okay, but like this is scary for me. Is this linebacker room? It's scary. Okay, so I'm blocking it. I'm sorry, but the grade here is 7th in the league. 7th. Man, I don't know. I don't know. I honestly think that this secondary can be top 5. I honestly think this secondary is a top 5 secondary. Maybe it's a little bit of Giants bias. I don't know. When I look at this defensive back room, it's freaking scary. It's freaking scary. Okay, because we've got a lot of depth, right? We've got a fair amount of depth here in the cornerback room. We've got some decent depth in the safety room, right? When we're talking about having Jabril, Logan Ryan, McKinney, Love, like we've got. Hey, listen, I said that our safety room, they're all starter caliber safeties. Like they're all starter caliber safeties. So like when I look at this, 7th feels a little low. I think it's 5 or better. Maybe it's a little biased, I don't know, but just look at what we got here. Look at what we got here. This is a good point right here. A couple of good points. First point, talking about Adoree Jackson and how Adoree Jackson seems to be better in man than zone. Wondering if that's an indictment on the Giants in regards to what kind of defensive scheme they're going to play in regards to their secondary. Listen, I do feel like the Giants are going to want to probably blitz more, and that's going to require them to play a bit more zone. Bradbury is a guy that can play physical. He's good in the line, although he's not the fastest guy in the world, as he said. But Bradbury is smart. Bradbury is smart, and he's seen a lot. And he's lined up against some of the best wide receivers in the league throughout his career. So he's smart. He's smart, and he knows what he's doing. So like, I'm not quite afraid for them to run more man. I'm not afraid for them to run more man. On top of the fact that you've got all the defensive backs traveling and training together and doing things together. So like, what's to say that Bradbury isn't working with Adoree on his zone? Like, what's to say he's not? What's to say that they're not actively putting that work in to get him better at it? I don't know. And then the other point is this. Aaron Robinson, Darnay Holmes, they're both really good nickel corners. Like they're both really good nickel in the slot corners. So this is an interesting competition that's getting ready to happen here between these two. This is a position battle to watch. Is Aaron Robinson versus Darnay Holmes in regards to who's going to win that nickel corner position. But even still, like now you've got If we're going out there with 4 corners in like a dime set, bro, we can lock the field up. We can lock the field up and be okay. So like this, very interesting points, man. We got 2 guys here that can both play that nickel corner role, and they're both very good, and they can rotate in and rotate out depending upon what the matchup is. Like, listen, this is why I'm saying I personally think that this defensive back room is higher than 7th, because we've got options. We've got so many options here. I 100% correct, Marcus. 100% correct. And I said it. These safeties are all starters. Like there is no starter in this safety room because they're all playing. Like they're all playing. So you're gonna have all these guys on the field. You're gonna have all these guys on the field throughout the game. Like it's just, there's no true starter here. Like Jabril is going to be that underneath guy. Logan Ryan and McKinney over top. Love can come in and he can play over the top. Like, yo, you're gonna have a situation here where you're gonna have all these good coverage guys, and then you've got Jabril there that can lay the boom underneath. Jabril can line up on a tight end. He can line up in the slot sometimes. Like, you can put Jabril all over the place. So like, yo, this is an interesting and relatively, and I know it's on paper, but a scary secondary right here. This secondary is scary. That's very true. And I'm kind of hiding his name here, but I was talking about Julian Love, and that Marcus brings up a good point. Julian Love isn't even really a safety. He's just a defensive back. Like he's just a defensive back. And he can play everywhere. He can play outside. He can play, outside on the perimeter. He can play nickel corner. He can play free safety. Like he can, like he's not even really a safety. He can just play. Like he just plays. So you put him anywhere. Like listen, we've got so much versatility here. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So wait a minute, Marcus. Wait a minute. So you sat here and you rave about Patrick Graham. You rave about this defensive scheme. You rave about some of the players here. You rave about all this, but you still think that the Giants coaching on defense is 12th in the league. There are 11 better defensive coaches in the league. I'm not saying that Patrick Graham in this defensive coaching room should be top 5, okay? But 12th? I don't know, man. I don't know. Hey, the home field thing, I can't argue, okay? Since I've been on YouTube, I have been yelling about the fact that you see more of the opposing fans in our damn stadium than you see our fans sometimes. I've been yelling about how, they're selling tickets. The season ticket holders are selling the tickets to the highest bidder for a bologna and cheese sandwich and a Snapple. Like I've been saying all that. I can't even argue. Our home field advantage sucks. It sucks right now, man. And I just hope that now that fans can be back in the stadium. Giants fans will just be clamoring for an opportunity to go and see this team live, and they'll be in there and they'll be loud, and you'll hear a bunch of "Let's Go Giants" chants. License plate guy will be in there. He'll be losing his damn mind. I hope that the fact that fans haven't been able to be in that stadium for a whole year kind of flips that narrative, and MetLife is just rocking when the Giants are there. But we'll see. We'll have to see. So in conclusion in this video, we are the 23rd overall team with a 24th overall offense. Yeah, okay, all right. I don't agree with the offensive line take, but okay. The 14th best defense, I personally think that's a little bit too low. I personally think that we potentially could be a top 5 defense, but I put us at top 10. Yes, the edge rushing position kind of bumps us down a bit, but our secondary is going to be the bread and butter here. And that's why I think our defense will be a little bit better than that. Special teams, whatever. 11th, cool, I guess. Graham Gano is a monster. He's damn near automatic, but the punt team, we'll have to see. The return team, we'll have to see. I don't know. 18th in culture. I don't know how I feel about us being 18th in culture. When it would seem like the culture here, this is mostly because of Joe Judge. All credit to Joe Judge, but it seems like the culture is different here. The culture is different here. Players are out there actively recruiting players. Players are raving about this locker room and how they feel and the things that they're doing. I think the culture is a little better than 18th, but that's just my opinion. But okay, so this is what it's looking like. Okay, that makes sense. His explanation as to why the culture is where it's at makes sense. He's taking into account the fact that, where this team started and it being bad and the culture being bad, which the culture was kind of bad, and it's bumped up tremendously. Okay, all right. I can dig it, Marcus. I can dig it. I understand that the explanation helps me feel a little bit better about where you're ranking us culture-wise. Okay, cool. Okay, let's take a look at this. Strengths and weaknesses. Receiving talent is definitely a strength. Secondary is definitely a strength. Defensive scheme and coaching is our strength, but we're 12th in coaching. All right, cool. Blue collar culture and attitude. Yep. I can dig it. I can dig it. So yeah. And then our weaknesses: inconsistency at quarterback. I can agree. Offensive line. I don't know if that's specifically our weakness, like our only weakness on offense. Sure. But I don't think it's as big of a weakness as people are making it out to be. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong. And then traditional pass rush being a weakness. I can agree. Our edge rushing is a question mark. We don't know what it's going to be. We don't know what we're going to get. It's a little bit scary. So yes, overall, I can agree for the most part with the strengths and weaknesses of its team. Yes, I can agree for the most part. Not wholeheartedly, but for the most part, I can agree. Oh, snap. Marcus just said that the blue-collar culture and attitude starts at the top with Dave Gettleman. Oh, snap, yo. Oh, snap. Hey, did y'all hear that? It starts at the top with Dave Gettleman. All of y'all that are out there that are shitting all over Dave Gettleman, understand that the culture and the attitude does truly start at the top with Dave Gettleman. Look me in my eyes right now. I know Dave Gettleman has made a lot of mistakes. I know Dave Gettleman is responsible for the initial downfall of this team. I do not dispute that. Not at all. But the culture and the attitude does indeed start at the top with Dave Gettleman. I 100% agree with Marcus. And here's why this statement hits me so hard. Because Marcus was leading the Dave Gettleman hate train. He was the captain of the ship that was the SS We Hate Gettleman. He was the captain of it. But even he recognizes that the culture and the attitude starts at the damn top. Okay? He's got us beating Denver, losing to Washington, losing to Pittsburgh, beating Atlanta, losing to New Orleans, losing to Dallas, losing to the Rams, winning in Carolina, losing to Kansas City, beating the Raiders, losing to Tampa Bay, beating Philly, losing to Miami, losing to the Chargers, beating Dallas, losing to Philly, losing to Chicago, winning against Washington. So essentially here, we go 3-3 in the division. We don't get swept. That's nice, I suppose. we don't get swept in the division. We lose some games that I don't agree with. Like I think there's a chance of us beating Chicago. I think there's a chance of us beating the Chargers. I honestly think there's a chance of us sweeping one of these teams in the division. Just being completely honest. I think there's a chance of us sweeping one of these teams in the division. Just one of them, though. Not two, just one. I think there's a chance that we could sweep one of these teams in the division. I'm not going to sit here and say that I think we're going to win 10 games because you guys know I don't really make predictions, but 7 wins. I think we can get more than 7 wins. I would definitely bet the over, because up at the top there, the over/under is 7 wins. If I was going to put a bet out there, I would 100% bet the over. That's just me. I might be wrong, but I would bet the over on this. Okay, so that's essentially Marcus's deep dive into the New York Football Giants. He ranks us at 23. He says that he thinks that we'll win 7 games, but our ceiling is 9. If we win 10, it would be surprising. If we win 10 in the playoff game, it would be surprising. I don't know if I can agree with that last part. I think that this defense could be good enough to, put our offense in some advantageous positions in games that could cause us to win a couple of games that are surprising, right? And it would not surprise me. I personally wouldn't be surprised if we win the division, host a home playoff game, and pick up a sneaky win there at home. It wouldn't surprise me, right? But it also wouldn't surprise me if this team falls on its face, because it's the New York Football Giants we're talking about here, okay? We're not talking about like a team that is like a no crap playoff contender. Like, we're not talking about that right now, okay? We're talking about a team that's still growing, it's still developing. We've got a lot of youth. We're trying to get these players up to speed, and we see what happens. If you guys have not gone over to Marcus's channel, the link is in the description. You should, okay? You should go and take a look at his channel, okay? He's very smart. He knows what he's talking about. He gets a lot of things right. Even though, he's pissed me off in the past with his deep dives into the Giants in the past. Even though he said some things that I vehemently disagree with in regards to players and players' abilities, the man knows his stuff. Okay, so you should definitely go check out his channel, give him a follow, tell him PTA Sports sent you, all right, and go show that man some love, because the man does know what he's talking about. And he is also a Madden guy just like me. He's a CFM guy just like me. He's got a lot of Madden content on his channel where he's doing rebuilds. So shout out to him for that. And yeah, man, go show that man some love. So with that being said, I appreciate you guys coming and going through my reaction to Marcus's deep dive. I hope everybody has a fantastic weekend, and I will get up with you guys later. Make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, share, do all the things. Take care, guys. Deuces.